Allow me to introduce a new term, piggyback progress. Piggyback progress means, instead of slaving away in obscurity, coming up with an original world of unique and enthralling characters, portrayed in wonderful storytelling, then spending years building that first original spark into a beloved franchise that survives the rigors of the market and builds up the loyalty of fans over a generation. You instead take an existing beloved franchise that has built up a recognized brand with a built-in loyal audience and use it as a vehicle for your worldview and agenda of identity politics, piggybacking off the talent, history, charm, brand IP, nostalgia, and fully assembled template, without needing to have much originality, world-building, or tenacity of your own, or needing to test your ideas in the marketplace. And knowing, all the while, that a pop culture media will champion your decisions as bold, affirming, overdue, and that you yourself are steadfast and strong for resisting any pushback or gripes about your decisions. Imagine you have creative control over one of the nation's oldest and most beloved series, which presents to you the widest, most comfortable back to wriggle up onto and cling to, as it lumbers forward, piggybacking you and your intensely held beliefs about diversity and inclusivity, so that virtually no effort is required on your part, creatively, in terms of engagement with the long-standing audience, or collaboratively to create and take risks with a format of your own, and knowing also that if your ratings sag, this too will be dismissed as a minor or transitory consequence of the unenlightened demographics in your audience dragging their heels in terms of tolerance and open-mindedness. In this way, you get to enjoy the best of both worlds, coming across as risk-taking and brave, whilst also luxuriating in the durability of a brand and the insulating warmth of most institutions that matter. Just as characters may enjoy plot armor, where bullets, punches, or car crashes scarcely affect them, you enjoy progressive armor. Despite how much of a fuss is kicked up, you are never really affected in any substantial way. You could have written a new character, a new hero, and since it was your baby, and if there were a market for it in the ratings wars, you could have rightly and wholeheartedly imbued that character with as many non-conforming or progressive characteristics as you wished, because, with people having gravitated to your original character, you would have earned the right to be legitimately admired and heralded as positively progressive. Instead, you lazily, cavalierly turn to piggyback progress to bastardize the work of countless others, in order to showcase your progressive principles and, in your mind, advance acceptance in society at large. A good impulse in and of itself, but done irrespective of any notion that the means of doing so, the vehicle used, the lack of effort or actual challenge, come across as obtuse and annoying. Finally, you know that you're wholesale lifting up by a crane of your set of values and dumping it in a cloud of dust onto a franchise you lack the creativity, eccentric dotty charm, or low-paid persistence yourself to have devised or developed can be done easily, because opposition has always been from right-wing media, all of which you and those around you deem sufficiently outside of the mainstream to be ignored. But for what it's worth, as well as introducing the term piggyback progress, I'd like to also introduce the idea that there are actually thousands of people like me who are liberal in many ways, ideologically, economically, and culturally, who find your flaky and smug excesses of identity politics to be annoying as fuck and will continue to raise our grievances, in the hope that we, as a subset, might start to coalesce and collaborate online, presenting a middle ground between the lazily passive and permissive liberal writers and the humorless, stodgy, and clumsy right-wing firebrands. And if that were to happen, it might just start to make showrunners and scriptwriters think twice about making their own attempts at piggyback progress.